Hi, my name is Bob Woolmer and welcome to The Wanderers for the final tape in our series of 4 cricket coaching videos. This particular video we are going to deal with the aspects of fielding, fitness, some important umpiring decisions and of course one of the hardest aspects of the game, and that is wicket keeping. And with me today I've got David Richardson, the South African wicket keeper, who's going to explain to us exactly what his role is. Dave.
I think the most important aspect of a wicketkeeper is obviously to catch every ball that comes his way. But apart from that, you've got to be enthusiastic in the field, really get the guys going right through a long, hot day of 6 or 7 hours. And then the other secondary aspects of a wicketkeeper, you've got to make sure that you're in a position to advise your captain on tactics, how the ball is swinging, if it is swinging at all, if it's spinning, who's bowling well, are we bowling the right line, etc.
Right. And if you're going to teach a youngster to keep wickets, where does he have to start? What's the hardest part?
I think the most difficult part of keeping, and it takes a lot of experience, is keeping to the spinners, standing right up to the wickets. The most important thing is obviously to be comfortable in your stance, feet comfortably apart, normally about shoulder width apart, hands relaxed in front of you, palms facing the direction from which the ball is coming, hands together, very important.
You see some youngsters start by standing behind the stumps because they're a bit worried about the ball going down the leg side. How do you react to that? Well,
obviously you've got to be able to see the ball to catch it, and if you're standing behind the stumps, your view of the ball is going to be impeded by the batsman. So you've got to give yourself a little bit of width, stand just wide of the stumps, and then you've got a clear view of the ball leaving the bowler's hand.
Some batsmen pick the bat up crooked, and does that affect your eye line? And if it does, what do you do about it?
It's quite a problem sometimes. Quite a few batsmen lift the bat up almost directly level with your eyes, and then all I try and do is really either just go a little bit lower or maybe just stretch a little bit above or even go a little bit wider.
Okay, so let's go through that again, those points. It's very important. You notice Dave's gone down, his palms are wide apart, his feet are shoulder width apart, his eye level is good there, and he's ready now to take the ball.
The important thing here when taking the ball, try and take the ball, or first of all, try and stay down, keep your eyes level with the ball, and then only come up as the ball is rising. So if I'm taking the ball, I'm going to try and take it with my head in line with the ball, fingers pointing down, elbows slightly bent, and as the ball comes, I can just give a little bit as I take the ball. So it's from the stance, there, head in line, taking the ball.
Now if the ball keeps low, Dave, you know, some wickets are worse than others. If the ball keeps low, how do you cope with that situation?
Well, you've got to really concentrate then on making sure that you keep your head down, staying down right to the last minute, as it pitches, only starting to come up with your hands. Okay. Keep your hands low and then come up with the level of the ball.
Right. Now the other thing that's always intrigued me is how do wicketkeepers stop the ball down the leg side? You know, the batsman's in the way and the ball's going down the leg side, and it seems to me it must be 4 byes all the time. So Dave, you know, talk us through that.
That's probably the most difficult aspect of wicket keeping, taking the ball down the leg side, because it's going to disappear from view for a fraction of a second as it goes past the batsman, depending on his size. But what I think the most important thing is to do good footwork. Again, keep the hands low, get your feet across, but also try and get your head across first so that you can give yourself the best opportunity of seeing the ball early. So get your head across early, get your feet going nicely, keeping your hands low, and then also being able to ride with the ball if it should bounce more than you expect.
I noticed that your back foot there has gone back away from the stumps. Why is that?
Yeah, I think obviously you must be close enough that if you take the ball, you can still reach the stumps. But if you shut yourself up like this and the ball bounces, you're jammed in. You've got no room to move. So the idea is just to keep your foot open a little bit, or keep your chest open, so that you can ride with the bouncing ball.
Okay, that's good. Okay, let's see Dave demonstrate that in the middle. Remember the wicketkeeper's motto: every ball is mine. Hands together, eyes level, feet shoulder width apart. Move your head into line with the ball and take it as it rises. Right, we've dealt with the wicketkeeper standing up. Now we're going to deal with the wicketkeeper standing back. Dave, what's the basic difference between standing up and standing back?
Well, standing up, obviously the most important is just taking the ball correctly. Standing back, you're looking to be more like a goalkeeper, to cover as much ground as you can, diving to your right, down the leg side.
And how far do you stand back?
A lot will depend on the pace of the bowler and the bounce of the wicket. I always try and stand back far enough that I've got enough reaction time, number one, and then also try and take the ball as it's starting its downward movement.
Okay, so what we're looking for here is the pace of the bowler, the bounce of the pitch, and you're actually going to take the ball on its way down.
Yeah, obviously, ideally, I'd like to take the ball around about knee height, but you're going to play on some wickets which don't get up much higher than ankle height, and then you're going to be, it'll be more difficult and you'll have to stand closer.
Now, if it's a right arm over bowler, how wide would you look to stand with the batsman there? Would you look to stand wide to get the outside edges? Or...
Well, again, obviously the basis is making sure you've got a clear view of the ball as it leaves the bowler's hand. But I think what is quite nice is to try and stand as close as you can to the stumps so that you can cover the leg side. You've got the slips to help you on the offside, and also you can then maybe reach the inside edge easier than if you were standing wide.
Okay, so there we are. We've got the keeper standing slightly closer to the right arm over the wicket. What about the left arm going across the batsman, left arm over the wicket?
You're going to have to move a couple of steps to your right or towards the offside, simply because he's bowling from a much different angle, and you're not going to be able to see the ball. It's going to again be obscured by the batsman if you stood in the same place.
Right. Right arm over the wicket, Dave. Left-handed batsman. Same principles, or? Exactly
same principles. Right arm over the wicket, you're going to go a little bit wider. If he's coming around the wicket, you can stand straighter again.
Okay. Now, where do you actually look to take the ball?
I find what I try and do is always take the ball slightly on my inside, almost in line with it would on the offside on my left foot. So if I can get my body just outside the ball, if he gives me an extra half a metre, should he nick it, and I can maybe don't have to dive.
Right. And what about the ball that Alan Donald or Brett Schultz really coming through?
I think the basic principles of catching the ball, you've got to keep your fingers either pointing down, and if it gets too high, too awkward here, you've got to switch and your fingers are pointing upwards so that you can ride with the ball easier and you won't get here, break any fingers.
What do you find that there's an awkward height, isn't there, where you're actually in between the two? Do you try to get the body out of the way there to take it?
Again, if you follow the same principles of keeping your body outside the ball slightly, you're going to have the room to ride with the ball if it gets up and gets up too high, and you can ride with it up there.
Okay. Right, that's great. Let's see Dave demonstrate that in the middle now. That's it. See how he moves and takes it on the inside of his left leg. Good. Right, that was to the left-hander. And now he's going to practice taking the ball in his right hand. See how he straightens his arm. That's good. Okay, now in his left hand. Again. Okay, he's going to straighten his arm again. That's it. He keeps his gloves on line, and he takes the ball. And now the one above his head. He uses his strong hand always to catch the ball. That's it. Okay, now we're going to see Dave diving and rolling, first to his right with one hand.
As he catches the ball, Dave rolls onto his shoulders to stop the elbows from hitting the ground and jarring, which may cause him to spill the ball.
See how he rolls over. The ball is low and he's got to get down low with two hands.
As wicketkeeper, you will certainly always be in the game.
As you heard Dave say earlier, it's very important for him to catch the ball cleanly. So obviously it's very important, Dave, for you to have a really good pair of wicket-keeping gloves. What do you look for?
I tend to favour the tailored variety of glove, nice, neat, narrow cuffs, so that they don't get too cumbersome. But then the most important aspect is that you must be able to feel the ball.